is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/bgunlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Pendulum, which this is a review copy, so take everything we say with a grain of salt. But with that being said, what did you think of Pendulum?
Had no clue this was a review copy.
It is. It is. They did send it to me.
Is that supposed to
alter what we say?
Oh, okay. So
I'm
sorry.
like, absolutely not.
I was thinking review for prototype. Sorry.
Oh no.
Yes, if it's a review copy, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, no. This is so good.
No. But on a serious note, I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Right.
I mean, you can almost just say it and end it here. Stonemaier did it again.
Yeah, so here's the thing. This is a very innovative game. Using, as far as I know, there's no real-time worker placement game. There might be in the grand scope of
if there is,
games.
we haven't played it.
I haven't played it, so this is...
And we've only got a few games, so we could have...
We have like 3.
But.
Yeah. But I try to play a lot, and worker placements, there's a company... Garfield Games, we've Architects of the West Kingdom, we've actually played all of them, Raiders of the North Sea, and Paladins, that all innovate worker placement, and that's what they're known for. So it's really cool to see another game come out that's not by them, that does the same thing. And in all reality, the concept of the worker placement is similar to what Stonemaier has done before with viticulture. You have your regular workers, and you have your grande worker that can go wherever anyone's at.
Yeah.
But the use of these timers are really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And I like it quite a bit. Because it adds, for me, a kind of turn angst. Where you're like, come on. But not like a stressful one.
Yeah.
Like,
you're excited. You're just waiting for it. You're like, okay,
right?
I already know what I'm going to do. I just need to get them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like with the... the different timers, it actually makes you plan your turns a little differently. Like if you sit there and you dump all your workers onto the purple side, well, you're gonna be waiting.
Yeah,
you're gonna be waiting there for 3 minutes.
It better be war.
And while everyone is doing things like what you were doing, because I think in the first round I went to purple, and then you kept jumping back and forth with black, and I'm like,
because I was like, I need stuff.
Yeah, I was like, she figured it out. I'm like, shit. I did not do that.
I will say there was just some things that I should have done.
Yeah, and actually we'll talk about that because, whereas there's probably one thing that you didn't do that is what caused me to actually jump ahead, because you were doing better in votes. You got your legendary achievement done before I did. You actually did 2.
Second turn.
First turn.
Second round. First turn in the second round.
So you were doing really well, but there was one thing that you didn't do that I did heavily, and it ended up working out in my favor. But as for the main mechanisms of this game, this timer thing is a breath of fresh air. I really like it. This game has virtually no theme, though, at all. Whereas the actual backstory is pretty cool. I actually liked reading that. That was kind of interesting. It does not come out in this game at all, because you are focusing really on this sand timer. Your actions make no sense to what you're doing. Right. Thematically, mechanically, everything's great. But it's like, why am I going here? The art, there's barely any. What there is, I mean, it's really cool. I love this box art. Yeah. And I like the art on here. I like the names of these provinces. I mean, they all have a semblance of art on them that I think is different from the rest, which is really cool. But you're not worried about that. No, it doesn't come out. It's just, this is a black area, green area, purple area. Purple timer, green timer, black timer. You're really just completely focused on that. So if you're very into theme, and there's a lot of worker placements that do theming really well, viticulture for being one of them by Stonemaier, this is not going to be the game for you. But what I will say is, if you're looking for something innovative, this might be up your alley, because even though it's real time, there are some real time games where you get in each other's way a lot.
Yeah.
And This one's not really there. I think there was one time in our gameplay where I was going to place somewhere, but you had already placed a worker there, and all I had was my common one, my Morty.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh fuck, I can't go there. And with how thick this rulebook is, which is pretty thick, pretty much it's large print and a lot of pictures, because I think they very much wanted to stress over how the timers worked.
Yeah, which makes sense because, like you said, like it's very innovative. We haven't played a game that's like that, and it's easy to forget. Like in the moment, it's really easy to forget. So imagine only hearing that rule once,
right?
And then it's just like, fuck, we've been playing half the game and we've just been forgetting.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And one thing I think they did that alleviates that stress is the fact that you don't have to flip the timer. No one has to flip the timer. If everyone's doing stuff here and that purple one ran out, no one has to touch it.
And like we're just not on it. We're like, we got stuff to do.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily do that. You could just be jumping back and forth here. But eventually the purple one will get flipped.
Yeah, or like if you're trying to put the pressure on someone too.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty cool. Like, I like the use of the cards.
Yeah.
There seems to be, for me, kind of a lot of avenues in how to go about winning this game. Getting a lot of these cards. Like, you made a big power move with your cards. And I think I did one as well.
I think you did, yeah.
Like, I think I did it to get my last worker out.
Yeah.
Or to get all the provinces, because I happened to get this one that was, play, pay 3 to get a province. And it's like, oh, great, that's way cheaper than wasting a time. So it's like, okay, I'm going to play that, get 3, then I'm going to do this and this to get another 3, and then I'm going to pay 5 culture, get my cards back, and do it again.
Yeah.
So you have that freedom while everyone's doing stuff like this. You can just keep jumping between cards, moving over there. And the cool thing is to do your cards and stuff, you have to go to the purple one.
Yeah.
So you eventually have to go there, which is going to block someone out.
Yeah.
To get a lot of the power, like, I had to go to the purple one and just wait.
Yeah.
But, yeah. This is, I think, really, really fun. Now, any complaints? Because I do have a few.
I mean, honestly, for me, like me personally, not really.
So I have a few.
Shouldn't even say not really. No.
There's no. I mean, it's not a big complaint, but I'm not a fan of the way that the end game works. Like how you determine a winner, because it's really a race to get to the first thing. Like in that gray area, like at one point, if you see me hit these, like you essentially know, okay, I lost, like. Because you're like, well, there's not enough time for me. There's not enough time. There's not enough time for me to get enough power to jump in there. So the game is, funny enough, because it's called Pendulum, it's about time. It's a race.
Yeah. Like
you are racing to get this, and using a bunch of things to your benefit to be able to try and crank this, crank these tracks up. Yeah. So that's not even a big complaint. I'm not a huge fan of race victories. I feel like there was another game that we played recently where it was like, okay, so now screw the game, really. It's just all about trying to get this up, which is what it is. But for me, that's not my favorite way to get to determine a winner.
Right.
I don't know if you cared about that at all.
Ironically, like, I don't know, there was just something about it where I was just having, like, a lot of fun, just moving and grooving. I've also just been in a really good mood today.
Oh, that's so great.
But, I was just focused on having fun, to be honest. And so I really didn't mind, because I was like, okay, I'm just going to try my best. Because, like, once the glow wore off of getting that really quick, because I was like, I just have to get there. Like, I have to get there to know that I have a possibility to win. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. But I was like, after that, like, I'll just try my best to get up there.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, I mean, and you got extremely close.
Yeah, because I didn't try my best because I made a fatal error.
Right. And yeah, I mean, the other thing about the game, this isn't a negative, but what's cool is that the votes only matter for privilege.
Yeah.
which is cool. There's not some other reason that you have to spend these or anything. I mean, they also count for whatever these cards are called. You most likely need votes, like to get a trade pact or something. But I like that. I like how you don't have to spend those resources. You just need to have them.
Yeah, because otherwise that would be so hard to keep.
It would. Yeah. This was hard. Like, because we were on the final round before I was finally able to jump my shit up.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and I'm like, I don't know if any of us are going to win. And then I was like, wait, no, I think I figured out what I need to do. And I was able to do it. And it's fun because you sit here and you're just like, okay, that one's going, this one's going, okay, that one's going, which one's going to end first? I need this one to end first.
Yeah, and you're just like hoping, you're like...
Oh, and it did! Boom, okay! And then it's kind of a rush. You have an ebb and flow of stress with the real time.
Yeah.
Adrenaline.
Yeah, is a good way to put it. I like the fact that, two things. I like that the only way that both players lose or all players lose is if no one gets that. I'm like, okay, so you at least, like, if you really shit the bed and only one person gets up there, or, like, what is it? I think that person wins if only one person gets up there, right?
Essentially, you cannot win if you haven't done a legendary achievement.
But then, like, if you all get up there and, like, let's say mine it stayed like that, and then...
I didn't have mine. Like, I was the same boat.
It goes off of who's, like, the furthest one back and then how many spaces you are away from the first one.
Yep.
Which I think is cool. So it gives leniency because, especially maybe in, like, more players, it might be, harder. But, real quick, I like the fact that if you really, really shit the bed, you do have a final chance.
And those 5 cards will always be the same. So okay, if I can get 10 resources, I can do that.
Yeah.
And actually what you said was, that's what I was going to bounce off of, was the fact that the game is very forgiving with getting the legendary artifact. Because it's like, if I take it and I get mine, I can't take it again. Like, I can't keep getting trade pack, sending my achievement, and just taking this so people can't get it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I got mine. Now, I mean, I can place mine there, and I can get the bottom ability, which is still pretty good, because you don't have to have the resources. You can just, I happen to have that. Boom, I'm just going to go there and get free stuff. But yeah, I really like the fact that getting votes is really good, because one, you get 2 points, like, for being first and first dibs, and some of those were really good, like one of each. Or there was one card in there that I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, you took it like immediately. I can't remember which
It was the one of each. That was the very first card I took. But like this one where it's like, your worker, you don't have to pay the 2. Like the 2 money.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's good because all the stuff in the black area is free. Everything else costs money.
Yeah.
And that's why my provinces, I went for money first. Because I'm like, I think I'm going to start needing that.
Because there was one time... We're both, I think we ran into it like right around the same time where we were like, fuck, we don't have enough money. Like,
yeah.
Wait.
I had a pretty good go because I started out with 6. And that's why I jumped over here and I was like, okay, great. Then I'm like, oh, my people are stuck there.
Yeah.
I had the same issue in Paladins where I used all my workers up like on big moves and I was like, oh, Kat and Devin are still doing actions. I might have sucked here.
Wait a minute.
But yeah, so... I really like the forgiving on the legendary achievement. I like the fact that it's like that is one condition. You have to do that. The other thing I really like, which is pretty interesting, are the provinces. And this is the thing that you did not do.
Yeah, and it's not that I wasn't trying to do them. It's just that I just got caught up in a lot of different things.
Right.
And by the time I got my first one, it's because it was free. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll grab that real quick. And then I was like... Well, I should have been doing that a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, where there's essentially like 4 different paths to victory, and it also will depend on the character that you have too. You can go for money, which everyone should try and go for money, but you can honestly do a mission. Like if I wanted to just go military heavy, there were ones here like get the ones that are 2. Like okay, then that'll give me 8. And then I can just jump back and forth and just keep conquering provinces, and then just steamroll on that. So the more
But you have a limit.
You have a limit at the end of the round.
Yeah.
Or at the council phase. So I could have 5 on each of these. And then just really have a bunch. And then at the end, I can be like, okay, then you have to cut down.
I just feel like by the time you build it up and build it up and build it up, and then you're using them, you're not doing other things.
You can't do all of them. But like, for example, you can do... like a bunch, like here, for example, if I'm getting 6, well then the card I have in my hand lets me get spend 3 instead of the 4 to conquer one. So then I can do this card twice instead of going here and only being able to do it once. Mm-hmm. So it's all about using your provinces to be efficient. And what I did was I knew I was going to be able to get my purple and blue up. What? Yellow and blue up.
Oh, I'm taking you to the fucking doctor.
And I was really far off on power because really the only place to get power is over here in green, which I wasn't going to that much. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to get 2 of these provinces and then go here with both my workers, spend 4 money to be able to do that twice, and that's how I got 6, which just jumped me up. So that was pretty much the only thing that I did different than you. And then you went very vote heavy, which was still really good.
And I mainly just did that because I wanted to. There was no real like... Because I went last once and I was like, no.
Yeah, you get almost nothing being last. Yeah. You get a card. And it's
you don't even get to pick first or second.
Nope.
Which, we were playing with an AI, so...
Yeah, actually, the 2-player variant I thought was actually pretty good. They're there.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not like, okay, you have to move them around and you have to... Nope, they take those spots up. You have to send your Grande worker if you want to go there. And they have 3 votes. And that's it. They don't take a card. They don't do it. They don't go for this. I'm
just most excited that we didn't have to move them.
I know. It was a really nice variant that made it still feel like we got to do everything without having the fucking arduous task of also trying to run a third person. The other thing that I wanted to ask you, what did you like better? The untimed or the timed?
Timed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, timed made it so much fun. Untimed definitely offers you that structure of just knowing when it's going to happen. Because, there were times where I was like, okay, let me look down and be like, oh, well,
yeah, what's coming up next?
Yeah,
green?
Green's not going to pop off for a while, so I'm not going to go there until
when the next turn,
So that was a luxury of kind of looking at that, and you're not worrying as much, because then you can finally be like, okay, I'm done, wait for you, you're done, now we'll go ahead and proceed. Yeah. So it's more it's more relaxing and just form flowing.
Right.
But then the actual timers, it's not chaotic, but it's just a good adrenaline rush, you're having fun. Things are moving. Even when they're not moving, it's still like, okay. You're still excited.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. I actually don't like the timer, like the untimed, really at all. And the reason why is the game doesn't offer enough for it to be structured like that.
It's a little slow, I will say.
It's pretty slow, and it's like, because we did it both ways. We did the first round with it, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess, but you only have 2 workers, and they're already placed on the board. So then you're like, all right.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just skip all the way down already. And whenever we went to the timed one, then we went back to untimed. We were already watching, and then we're like, oh, wait a minute, we're back to this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend going back and forth. Yeah. I'd say play your game. At least do first 2 rounds timed or untimed, and then the last 2 rounds untimed. I wouldn't go back and forth like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game doesn't have enough meat to it for it to be as slow as it was. The game works in a very good pace, in my opinion, where you do have the timers going off, because all the low times of sitting here waiting, is covered up by you watching the timers.
Yeah, it doesn't have that excitement, because at that point you're pretty much you're just sitting there waiting. I heard you, I was listening, but I was just watching the board, just kind of in my own world, because you were like, and I'm like, I already put all my people down.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, done? And I'm like, yeah, done.
Right. I mean, and yeah, you don't have that. I mean, you have the time to wait, but you're not really focused on the fact that you are waiting.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
So let's see real quick. I definitely wanted to ask that question, because that was that's 2 ways the game can be played. Our recommendation: just go ahead and play timed, because
more fun.
It is just way more fun.
Especially if you're going to play a real-time-esque game. Play it real time.
Exactly, yeah. So, the one thing I did want to bring up was the different abilities. So, flip your person over. So, do they have the same? I think they have the same.
So, you are a man and not an animal.
I think I'm a man. Yeah, but I'm a man with a mask. with a mask on.
Okay, it looked like you had feathers, and it looked like you had...
Yeah, I mean, I have a feather coat on.
It looked like you had wings.
So yes, this does change the abilities.
Yeehaw.
Wow.
So changes my appearance too.
Yeah, it changes kind of the color, which is pretty neat.
In my whole appearance.
Well, yeah, it changes the color. Does yours like completely change?
I don't have any piercings.
Oh. Anyway.
And my eyes are red. Wow.
It also changes what you start with. So initially, Gamble starts with 6 money. On the back, I start with 2 military and 3 money.
Oh shit.
And then I get a PowerPoint, 5 culture, and 2 money. But my red ability, instead of it just being 4 military, is I can spend 2 military to pull my person off of a timer.
That's pretty fucking good.
So.
So what's your title?
The Insurgent.
The Insurgent. I'm now Bulk the Warmonger.
Ooh.
He went full chaos because that's just 0.
You didn't have any to start with anyway. On the other side.
I was looking at the wrong thing.
Yours stays the same, I think. 4 military and 2 money.
4 military. Yeah.
Oh no,
2.
It swaps. Yeah, you.
Oh, it does. Yeah, which makes sense because he's
the warmonger.
Yes. Pretty neat stuff. I think that's actually pretty cool because I obviously haven't looked at this until now, so there's some really neat changes. Like his stance is the same and everything, but he's definitely a little more.
Yeah. So it looks like your big change was. Oh, interesting. So you changed. Bulk doesn't care for playing careful political games, preferring to rely on brute military strength to force his way to the throne. So your culture one, instead of getting the 5, produces 2 different resources. There is no change to your maximum province cards, 2 in each slot of your player mat. So now it gives you 3 military and 2 culture.
What are you looking at?
Literally where your finger's pointing right at it.
That's 2 coins.
Oh, well, I can't see it from here.
Oh, I thought you were reading off the card.
No, it doesn't really show it that
what?
well. But then it says, as indicated on your player mat, picking up your stratagem cards costs 2 power points instead of 5 culture. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then you would get a few new cards. So, yeah, like you can convert any number of culture into province or vice versa. Yeah. Neat.
Yeah.
And then mine doesn't change that much. Red production lets me pull people back, but then my new card is play this card to place a worker directly into the rewards box of an action space on the row with the timer on it and take that action. The only exception is I cannot use it to do production. So his is a Gamble is not one of the favored nobility, but he still has designs on the throne. He has been stoking discontent and rebellion amongst the common folk and has gained a surprising amount of support. So, and all five characters have special abilities and special cards that make them more unique, which is always like favorable in my book. So I like that. That adds a little bit more uniqueness to the game. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else to talk about. I thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, really like it.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, Kat.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
9.
8.5.
9.5, huh?
I said 8.5.
That's like 9 and literally 1/2.
I like to say 8.5.
It's 9.5. Okay, thank you so much.
9 3/4.
9.75.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why isn't it a 10?
9 3/4.
Yeah, man.
9 2/3 cups.
I think we give it a 9 as well. I enjoyed this quite a bit, and
Very fun.
I think nothing would change in a 3-player game because there's already essentially a third person there, except now
they would just be moving.
Yeah, and then it plays up to 5, and I feel like the game would just take the same amount of time with more people.
I mean,
like,
it has to. Like, the timer doesn't change.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that this was a really, really innovative way to do. And before we were actually jumping into the game, I was like, there's so many ways that this could go wrong. Like, this could be a very shitty real-time worker placement game. But yeah, like, I like the theme outside of it. I do wish that the actions actually were thematic. But they're really not. They're really not. Even these tracks mean nothing. They're just something you're trying to move up. But yeah, and the length of the game, it was an hour.
Right, yeah.
Which is really good.
Because you're dependent on the timers. Like, that's it. Like, there's no, add 30 minutes per player, like, kind of thing. It's like, no, it's a timed game. It's real time. We're playing on time.
It says 60 to 90 minutes, too.
So, yeah. Wow. Thank you for being accurate.
And one thing I will say is be careful about these, because there were times where we were flipping it and we're like, are those even going?
Like our very first time?
Yeah. And then it's just like, so pretty much whenever you place it, just pop it. Pop it down.
And also, like, since this one takes 3 minutes, it's so light.
Yeah, that's true.
That it's like, is it going? Like,
yeah.
And also, we've got a purple mat right up against it, so it's just like, I'm just gonna trust.
Right, so we'll know this after a while. Yeah. Only the people that are only really gonna care are those that have workers over there anyway. It'd be like,
it's been 5 minutes.
It's like they have your own timer. Yeah, it's a relaxed, real time, innovative worker placement game with a cool theme over it, but it doesn't really show through the actual mechanics.
Yeah, I would say cool story background.
Yeah. Even, like, the characters are pretty unique looking, and they have their own kind of backstory.
Yeah, they are really cool.
But yeah, like, I really liked it. So, 9.5, 9. That's our thoughts on Pendulum, everyone. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.